Hi, everyone. Good morning. Allison Livingston here, Connection Parenting League and Five Steps to Connect and the Real Peace Place community. I am so excited to be here in California on this foggy, cold morning and talking about such an important topic and really my passion, which is how to create emotionally healthy homes, and especially if you have a strong-willed child. But pretty much every child can be strong-willed at different times. And the question is, for me, why is this? So when I was just living kind of at the surface level, and they would resist, they'd yell no, they would say, I don't want to leave the park, they'd say, I don't want to eat that, all the things that kids go through. It's frustrating. It's aggravating. It's it's for me triggering. And so what can we do so that they feel heard and seen and I feel heard and seen, and yet we have a schedule and we have to keep life going? It's a pressure cooker. It can be. So let's sort of break this down, slow it down, and figure out what we can do to have a more peaceful but still authentic outcome, because that's what I really wanted in my family. If any of you have any questions about this, please do feel free to ask them and I will reply in the comments. So when we're feeling big emotions, and again, this is just something I want us all to give ourselves a big dose of compassion. Rarely, hardly any of the parents I speak with, and myself included, were taught how to be emotionally healthy. Their parents didn't teach them, their parents didn't teach them, so it's this multi-generational stuck place. And we learn, because hard emotions are uncomfortable and we feel them physically, that uncomfortable energy in our bodies. Our stomachs get glitchy, my fists get tight, my jaw gets just clenched, my breathing gets shallow, and I even forget to breathe. It's physically uncomfortable. And so what do we do to protect ourselves when we're really young? And we were modeled this by our parents. We get protective and we numb, we distract, we rationalize, we do everything we can to try and avoid feeling this sense of discomfort. Makes sense. And it becomes thought traps. It becomes a pain cycle because we get stuck in this loop of trying to avoid feelings by thinking and numbing, and then we just stay there. And it's really hard to get out of it. So what can we do to create this emotional health that we all just yearn for? Pema Chodron, who's a Buddhist nun that I started following years ago, says the thing that we can do is stay. Stay. That we notice that we're having an uncomfortable feeling. So a body scan is one clue. There's tightness in my body. Instead of going to my protective habits, which again is hard, we need to wake up because it's unconscious. We just roll into it. I start to get defensive. I start to trying to control. I start to blame. I do all these things just rote. So the thing to wake up, it's a two-part thing. And it's encourage yourself to stay. Stay with embarrassment. Stay with anger. Just try to pause and be with the energy of that emotion. The second part, and we'll do this next week, is to watch all the thoughts that can sometimes re-trigger ourselves. That's not fun. So for this, it's just use Pema's words. Stay, stay. I'm frustrated. My child just threw their food. Stay, stay. Because the second part is that emotion has a purpose. That emotion is necessary. it is pointing me to my unmet needs. I sense the unmet need sort of lives in my gut, my intuition. Stay so I can hear the message about what matters. The message about there's an unmet need. Maybe it's for ease. Maybe it's for partnership. Maybe it's for clarity. Maybe it's for being seen, how hard I'm working. And really, this is the thanks I get. I get my food thrown at me. So it's this hard thing to do. It's to unlearn all of those protective patterns and to just be with the discomfort long enough so that we can hear the message that there's an unmet need, and just to be with the sense of that unmet need. Maybe I can't meet that in this circumstance. Certainly our children are really not good strategies to meet our needs, but I can empower myself. I can get that need met for partnership, for being heard, for connection, for ease in other ways and other parts of my life. And even just the recognition or the noticing in myself that I have that need, and to just, yeah, no wonder you're feeling frustrated. Yeah, you really want ease and support. Oh, you make sense. Even that mirroring and that validation can shift my whole mindset, my whole outlook, my whole interaction with how I can then respond to my child. So it's a gift when we can have that voice of Pema Chodron. Stay, stay, stay. I'll give you a exercise. So that is the first thing. If you can do that once a day for 7 days, when you are triggered, your lid is flipped, your child has just thrown something, your child has just said no. So just hear those words, stay, stay. There's a message here for me. Frustration wants me to know something. That helps me validate myself. So do that one thing once a day for 7 days. And another exercise, I said there was 2 parts. The other part of the exercise is when you can get a moment, and maybe you can't because you've got 2, 3, 4 young kids. Again, give yourself a big break. It makes sense you can't find time. But if you can find time, maybe it's at the end of the day, maybe it's at the beginning of the day before people wake up, get out something to write on, maybe a journal, and write down what are the emotions that were hardest for you to be with when you were a child? Or what are the ones that are hardest to be with for you now? That you go to those protective strategies just unconsciously, that you can't, it's so uncomfortable. You just have such a habit. It's really challenging to feel. Maybe it's embarrassment. Maybe it's anger. For me, it was anger. I was not modeled anger. I didn't grow up in an emotionally healthy home. So I just want to encourage you to embrace this. There is nothing more important to be able to connect with our kids. And that's what I yearned for. And I just have to tell you a little win story that my strong-willed child, who was just so challenging growing up for me as I was learning these tools. I wish I had known sooner what I know now, which is why I'm so passionate about coaching and teaching parents, especially that have really strong-willed children. And as she was walking out the door, I didn't communicate well about a dentist appointment. And she had to get herself ready in literally less than 10 minutes. And she hates change sprung on her. If you have a strong-willed child, you know how change and transitions are one of the real triggering things. And she was able to own, I am feeling really triggered right now, and I know it's not your fault. That was such a win. Like, she could never have done that years ago, before we knew these tools and how to feel our feelings and own them, and I statements and all the things I do in my coaching practice. And wow, I was just like, it works. these practices, the 5 steps to connect, can change your life. So I just want to say it was a huge win, and I wanted to share. So have a great day, and thank you so much for all of you who are watching. Please do leave comments and questions in the post below. And if you're watching this later, please also do that. I do check back, and I'd be happy to answer them. And if you want to find out more about the Real Peace Place community or the 5 sessions coaching package, just let me know, because it doesn't have to be so hard. I have a message of hope, and it really works. So you're not alone out there, and hang in there. Give yourself a big just gesture of support, and try that 5 minutes today of just journaling about emotions and what was hard from your family of origin. And then try once today or multiple times, stay, 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 and listen for the message about your unmet needs. Great to be with you. See you next time.